Good night, everyone. I do
Good night,
believe I
Miss.
have good night. I do believe I have almost everyone online. So let's get started. So let's get into tonight's topic, algebra. We will be looking at algebra. As I did tell my other classes that algebra, you guys have been doing it or dealing with it since you guys were in nursery school. So as I explain algebra more in details while we go through the rules and so on, you're going to able to see why is it that I'm telling you that you were dealing with algebra since you were in nursery school at the nursery level. Everybody can copy this here inside of their book because that there is the topic that we will be looking at today. I always like to start off my class with algebra because teaching maths at the secondary level, although you might have a topic called algebra, all the other topics and all the other subtopics that we have, some way or the other, it all applies to algebra. So that's why I like to start off my class with that. So I trust that you guys have finished copying your subtopic. We would now be looking at the rules, adding and subtraction rules when it comes to integers. So the very first rule, it says that when the signs are the same, add and keep the sign. So when they talk about signs, they're referring to the number or the letter must be positive or it must be negative. Bear in mind, any number or letter you see stand by itself, it is a positive one. For example, look, we have 2 here. I can safely say that this 2 is a positive 2 because it doesn't have a sign in front of it. And once it doesn't have a sign in front of it, you guys should recognize it to be a positive 1. So when the signs are the same, you add and keep the sign. So in a case like this, both numbers are positive. So once both of it is positive, all you do, you add and you rewrite the sign. 4 plus 2 gives us 6. So here, when they say rewrite the sign, they did not rewrite the sign here because if you have positive 6, if you have positive 6, or you have 6 by itself, it simply means they are the same. Okay, it has the same value. Looking at the second example, I have negative 2, negative 4. So negative 2, negative 4, if you notice, the signs are the same. The signs are negative. So once you have the same sign, you add as normal. 4 plus 2 gives us 6, and all you have to do is to rewrite the sign. That's all you have to do. So the very first rule, I'm going to go it back. When the signs are the same, you add and keep the sign. So you add as normal and you rewrite the sign. If you guys understand this here, kindly put a 1 in the chat. If you guys understand the first rule, kindly put a 1 in the chat. Excellent, lovely. So I can see a lot of you um, did indicate a 1. Very good. Great. So we are now going to go to rule number 2. And this is rule number 2. It says when the signs are different, subtract and use the sign of the larger number. So when it talks about the signs are different, it simply means you have negative and you have positive. Like for example, here you have negative 2, positive 4. So once you have unlike signs, you subtract. And when I subtract here, I get 2. But some students tend to get confused because they see they have negative and they have positive. So sometimes, they play a little eeny, meeny, miny, mo game and they say, you know what? Put a positive 2 here. Next answer, I go put a negative. I go play a little game with the teacher. But I must tell you, when you're putting your answer or whatever step you're dealing with in maths, you must be confident. You must have a reason why you put your positive, why you put your negative. And you can only be positive when you're doing something, when you're following the rules. So if you look here, the number that's bigger is 4. The sign in front of it is positive. So the answer here is going to be positive 2. Okay? Looking at the second example, you have 2 minus 4 is equal to minus 2. So this here is positive, this here is negative. Unlike signs again, and the rule did tell us when we have unlike signs, we subtract. And when we subtract, we are going to get 2 as the answer. If I want to know what sign my answer is going to be in, just look for the number that's bigger, which is 4. The sign in front of it is negative. So that is how I know my answer is going to be negative 2. Any question based on this, kindly unmute yourself. For the students who don't understand, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. For the students who understand, kindly put a 1 in the chat. Oh my, I should have used a different number because I did tell you guys to use 1 there just now. Awesome, awesome. Great. Remember, feel free to ask any question. Unmute yourself. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm giving you all 1 minute to copy both rules inside of your book. Asifa, you did raise your hand. Is there anything I can assist you with? Feel free to put it inside of the chat. If not, you can unmute yourself. All right, so you guys should finish with that. What I would like you guys to copy here now, if you notice, I have multiplying integers rule. I want everybody to copy this here for me. Everybody is going to copy the rules for me here. Just this you guys are doing. While you all are copying that, I can explain to you what it means. It means a positive number multiplied by another positive number gives us a positive answer. A negative number multiplied by a negative number gives us a positive answer. A positive number multiplied by a negative number gives us a negative answer. A negative multiplies by a positive number gives us a negative answer. So that is what this multiplication rule means. And students, please don't confuse it. Please don't confuse your addition and your subtraction rules with the multiplication rule. Please bear in mind your multiplication rule is only being applied when you are multiplying, only then. Okay, so we're now going to solve these. So number 1, you have 30 plus, open bracket, plus 43. The reason for you to copy that multiplicative rule just now, because I want to work this out where you have positive and positive. I just want you all to have one sign. So so if you notice, I have my screen here so you all can see what I'm doing, what I'm trying to explain. Okay, great. So the reason for you to have the multiplicative rule there just now is because we want to work out these two signs. You guys must understand that the mere fact you have a bracket, the bracket means multiplication. So that's why I will be using the multiplicative rule in order to get one sign only. So in a case like this, everybody can refer to their multiplicative rule. Positive multiplied by a positive gives us a positive answer. So if you notice, when we work out both sides, we eventually get one sign. So since we have one sign, it makes our work easier. So all we have to do now is to put 30 plus 43, and you should all get 73 as your answer. I must tell you that when you're at fourth form, fifth form level, you have to, it's going to be better if you do your working like this, like from up, go downwards. Once you go up to downwards, it gives you a better layout of your work. Because if you have to put, just imagine, you have plus 30 plus open bracket plus 43, then you're going to put equal, you put a 30 plus 43 equal here 73. If you have it all in a line, it becomes jumbled. Like you don't know, like if a person looks at your book, they're going to be all confused. They're not going to know like where you start, where you stop, what you did in between. It's going to be very hard for somebody to understand. But when you have your work all laid out like this, it's a better format and it's more understandable, not only for the person who is marking your work, but for also you the person who wants to go back and revise your work. Okay, so it's very important to use this format. Here you have negative 84 plus plus. Again, in a case like this here, you are going to use your multiplicative rule where you have positive by positive gives us a positive. So in this case here, you should have negative 84 plus 21. So let me just, here you have negative 84 plus, so in a case like this, you have two signs. Positive by positive gives us a positive. So your working should be here negative 84 plus 21. And I'm gonna review that rule which says the mere fact you have unlike signs, you need to subtract. When you have unlike signs, you need to subtract. And when you subtract there, you are going to get 63 as the answer. Yes, go ahead. When you subtract, you are going to get 63 as the answer. The number that's bigger is 84. The sign in front of it is a negative. So the answer for number 3 is negative 63. The reason why I moved to this one here is because this one here has negative. I am sure all of you can able to work this one here, number 2, because it's basic addition. So with this here being explained, can you guys solve this worksheet here for me? If you guys think you can manage it, kindly put a yes in the chat. If not, I'm going to assist the others. Lovely. Awesome, awesome. So I can see a lot of yeses there. Yes, I'm going to go it over. In the meanwhile, okay, I do have one student that is requesting me to explain it. I will go it over. In the meanwhile, I am explaining it to that one student. The others kindly start working this worksheet.